we are going to speak about glories of the Rathayatra. We all know that next Saturday is going to be Rathayatra. What is Rathayatra? Ratha means chariot and Yatra means a religious procession. So Rathayatra is actually a religious procession which started in Kurukshetra. In the Bhagavad Gita, in the very first chapter and the very first verse, it states, Dhritarashtra Vacha, Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. So, Kurukshetra is considered to be a Dharma Kshetra, which means a place of religion. It is a holy dham, a holy place. And this Rathayatra started from Kurukshetra because Krishna, he wanted to establish Dharma. This was more than 5,000 years ago. And Dharma originated from Kurukshetra. There are two things that are very similar or connected or linked to Kurukshetra. One is the Bhagavad Gita, which was re-spoken in Kurukshetra. This is going on. During solar eclipse, once a year, Rath Yatra takes place, and this is a beautiful pastime between the residents of Vrindavan and Lord Shri Krishna. One time during solar eclipse, Krishna decided to go from Dwarka to Kurukshetra to take a holy bath. And at the same time, the residents of Vrindavan, the gopis and the cowherd boys and all the residents, they also went to Kurukshetra during solar eclipse, but they had no idea that Krishna was also present in Kurukshetra. So after Krishna finished his bathing and all, he sat on his chariot along with his brother Balaram and sister Subhadra and was about to leave to go back to Dwarka. At that time, the residents, they came to know. These residents of Vrindavan, they were in intense separation from Krishna because they had not seen Krishna for 100 years. If we don't see our loved one for that informs that if we don't see our loved ones even for a little time, we get restless. Yes or no? Yes. Or we say good riddance. We don't say it. Sometimes we do, right? Especially between spouses. Good riddance. Going on vacation, good riddance. But here, they had not seen Krishna for 100 years. And Krishna also was longing to see the residents of Vrindavan. Now one may say, but Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, right? 100 years ago, it was Vasudev Krishna that left Vrindavan and went to Dwarka. Of course, first to Mathura, then to Dwarka. So as soon as the residents came to know, oh, Krishna is also present in Kurukshetra, they all ran towards him and they stopped the chariot. And along with the horses, they started pulling the chariot towards Vrindavan. They wanted Krishna to come to Vrindavan. Now, what is the significance of pulling the chariot and taking to a particular place? The significance is that we, once a year, get a golden opportunity to pull the ropes of the chariot. What do we do with that? We pull the ropes with a prayer in mind that, O Lord Jagannath, O Baladev, O Subhadra, please, I'm pulling you towards my heart. Please come inside my heart. Please be present in my heart. Please help me. This is the mood. This is the prayer. I know it is once a year festival where we like to dress up and we like to chant and dance and pull. But the whole meaning of Rath Yatra is that we are pulling the Lord, not literally, but pulling Him mentally and asking Him to please reside in my heart. Help me to progress in Krishna consciousness. So this holy place Kurukshetra is very, very important. It is also called Samanta Panchaka because there are 5 lakes in Kurukshetra. And how were these lakes produced? When Lord Parashuram, he had killed the Kshatriyas. So the blood of the Kshatriyas made these 5 lakes. So when we go to Kurukshetra, of course we don't see the blood, but that is these 5 lakes, that's why it's called Samanta Panchaka. So here in Kurukshetra, 5,000 years ago, there was this opportunity for the residents of Vrindavan and the Supreme Lord Krishna to reunite after 100 years. What is the average age in Kali Yuga? Less than 100. Someone told me that India, it is 80 years. America, it's 60 years. So someone was telling me when I'm 60, I'll go to India, so at least I'll get another 20 years to live. But it doesn't work like that. So 100 years, reuniting after 100 years. So here we see that the Ratha, the chariot, also is very significant just by touching the chariot of the Supreme Lord. Why is the Lord coming out once a year? Because there are so many who don't go to the temple to see him. So the Lord has to come out to give us darshan. The purpose of Rathayatra is not just chanting and dancing, but also giving this knowledge to others. Carry some books with us and distribute these Prabhupada books to others, so that even though they are getting darshan of the Supreme Lord, but at the same time they get spiritual knowledge as well. So here we see that in Kurukshetra is where the Rath Yatra first started. And that is the place where Krishna wanted the Rath Yatra to originate from there. Also to establish the religion, the religious principles, and he chose Kurukshetra. So it is said, I was listening to a lecture by a Maharaj, and he was saying that Krishna, he becomes lovesick once a year. Nice word, lovesick once a year. And that is why he comes out once a year on the chariot to give darshan and to also meet his devotees. We have seen that Srila Prabhupada, right from his childhood, he started Rath Yatra festival, if you remember, right? When he was little, he asked his father, he expressed his desire to have a small Rath Yatra, so a small cart was built for him, and he put the Lord in the cart and he took it around his, of course in India you don't call it subdivision, but in that locality he did the Rath Yatra. And what did he do when he came to the US in the 60s? He had his first huge Rath Yatra in California, which was attended by thousands and thousands of people who saw Srila Prabhupada, had his darshan. They had darshan of the Lord on the chariot. There was a lot of chanting and dancing and prasadam. So even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he also encouraged Rath Yatra, if you remember. In Jagannath Puri, excuse me, in Jagannath Puri, the Supreme Lord himself cleaned the Gundicha temple, the place where the deities of Jagannath, Baldev and Subhadra would rest. After bathing, they fall sick and then they rest before coming out on the chariot to give darshan to everyone. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also encouraged that we, not only arrange for a Rath Yatra, participate in it, but help others also to participate in this beautiful festival. The purpose is the Rath Yatra helps us to not only have darshan but also give opportunity to others. Explain to them about Bhagavad Gita also, to meet people, talk to them. We meet so many onlookers, that's what you call them, right? You call them onlookers, yes? Those who look at the Rath Yatra passing by. They are fascinated. Excuse me, they are fascinated by the beautiful colors, the chanting, all the dancing and all the prasadam that is distributed. They get attracted by that. So Rath Yatra is a beautiful festival which helps not only us to progress spiritually, but it helps other living entities as well. So Kurukshetra is where, of course, Bhagavad Gita was spoken and Rath Yatra festival also started. Now, when we see the Lord Jagannath and Lord Baladev, when we see the deity form on the chariot, what do we see? We see their arms stretched out. Yes? Their arms are stretched out. For what? Calling us, please come, surrender unto me. Because when we surrender unto the Lord, that is when we will get permanent happiness and peace of mind. When we surrender to and also his big eyes, they are watching, they see who all have come for my darshan. They also see who are those devotees who are giving my holy name to others. This chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. These are not ordinary sound vibrations. They are very powerful spiritual sound vibrations. These sound vibrations, when they enter our ears, they go straight to the heart and start purifying, start removing anarthas, the unwanted things. What are the unwanted things in the heart? Kam, Krodh, Lobh, yes, lust, anger, greed, pride. All this starts coming out. There is purification of the heart. When there is purification of the heart, then we can see the Lord within our hearts. Just like in the Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada gives a very nice analogy of this. He says, if you take a mirror which is covered up with dust, can we see ourselves in that mirror? We cannot. We have to cleanse out all that dirt from the mirror. Then we will be able to see our image in the mirror. Similarly with the heart. With the heart being covered with all these unwanted things, they need to be removed. Then there's going to be self-realization. Then we will actually, practically understand, I am not this body. Mostly, theoretically, we know, I am not this body, but I am the spirit soul. But when the heart starts getting purified, that is when there is self-realization. So here, Lord Jagannath and Lord Baladev, they have their arms stretched out, inviting us to surrender unto them. Now, surrender is a very heavy word, and no one likes to surrender. Imagine that when the boy and the girl, they get married, and on the very first day, the husband said, you've got to surrender unto me, and you've got to do everything that I say. What is she going to do? A modern woman. Leave immediately. No one likes to surrender. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Jivera Swarupoy, Krishna Nityadas, we are eternal servants. So that is our constitutional position. So when Krishna also is talking about surrender in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Prityagya Mamekam Sharanam, that means he wants us to follow his instructions that are given in the Bhagavad Gita. Very, very simple instructions given in the Bhagavad Gita. So, first, Srila Prabhupada says the first step of surrender is to chant the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So those of us who are not chanting, we should start chanting. Those of us who are chanting few rounds should start chanting 16 rounds. Those of us who are chanting 16 rounds, we should start chanting attentively. Those of us who are chanting attentively, we should try to chant more attentively, because the more attention we give to the sound vibrations, the faster is going to be cleansing of the heart. Then Srila Prabhupada says that one should follow 4 regulative principles very strictly. What are those 4 regulative principles? No meat eating, fish, eggs, onion, garlic. No intoxication, tea, coffee. No illicit sex, and no gambling. Because these 4 regulative principles, if one does not follow, then the foundation of the spiritual life becomes very shaky. Then it is very difficult for us to progress spiritually. Now, what are these 4 regulative principles connected with spiritual pillars? If one eats meat, fish, eggs, onion, garlic, then how can one be merciful? One of the pillars of spiritual life is mercy. So if we eat meat, we cannot be merciful. If we engage in illicit sex, we cannot be clean. If we take intoxication, we cannot perform austerities. And if we gamble, then we cannot be honest. So honesty, mercy, cleanliness. What is the 4th one? Austerity. Just making sure all are awake. So these 4 pillars help us to make a strong foundation of our spiritual lives. So Rath Yatra is very glorious. It was started by Krishna in Kurukshetra, and the purpose was to give us the opportunity to have darshan of the Lord and bring the Lord to the streets, so that all those who do not come to the temple for darshan, they get an opportunity to have the darshan and start their spiritual lives. It's only very fortunate people get darshan of the Lord. How many people live in Atlanta?
5 million.
5 million. How many come for Rath Yatra?
5,000 or 3,000.
You see? Out of that, so many are devotees. And the onlookers, how many are the onlookers? Few hundred? 1,000, 2,000? What about the others? Millions of people. They don't get the opportunity to have darshan, to even sow the seed of devotion in their hearts so that they can start their devotional lives. This is a very, very rare opportunity. Srila Prabhupada, it is because of him that today we are sitting and talking about glories of the Rathayatra. He is the one who gives us the knowledge. His books are a treasure house. It's like priceless. You cannot put a price on his books. So much knowledge he has explained in such simple language that anybody can understand. So thanks to Srila Prabhupada, today we are hearing about Rath Yatra, we are having this discussion, we are able to have darshan of the deities, we have festivals, temples, devotees, prasadam, and above all, books of Srila Prabhupada. What are those books for? To keep them on the shelf so they collect dust and then once a year take a cloth and take off the dust? No, it's for reading. It's for reading Srila Prabhupada's books scrutinizingly, not just reading. You know, some people can read very quickly. Do you know anybody? You know, who can just, the whole page, like they've gone, and then next page. They can read so fast. Do you know anybody? I know somebody. Before I can even finish 3-4 sentences, the page is turned. So that's called fast reading. But Srila Prabhupada's books are meant to be read scrutinizingly, which means we read a sentence and try to understand what is it that Srila Prabhupada is trying to say. If we are unable to understand, then we take guidance from an advanced devotee and try and understand what is it that the scriptures are telling us. So reading Srila Prabhupada's books scrutinizingly. Now this Rath Yatra also gives us an opportunity to do seva, to do service. different kinds of service. But the topmost service, what do you think is the topmost service for Rath Yatra, during Rath Yatra? Serve Lord Jagannath, better than that. I hope you all were not sleeping because I repeated that many times. Yes, Prabhu.
Sweeping in front of the chariot?
Yes, sweeping. Better than that.
Pulling the
Pulling the Rath. Better than that.
helping others come.
Helping others to become Krishna conscious. Talking to them. Explaining. There are many onlookers. They are so pleasantly